Welcome to Therapy for Nerds, the show where licensed mental health professionals use their favorite topics like TV, books, games, and movies to provide psychoeducation on mental health. Please note, this is not meant to be a replacement for mental health treatment or services. The roguelike dungeon crawler Hades was a topic of session a long time ago, and now I finally decided to talk about it. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about that client. That would be a breach of confidentiality. But the session had me thinking of the game and how it relates to mental health, so we're going to talk about it today. Spoilers ahead. In the game Hades, the main character, Zagreus, is stuck, both literally and figuratively. He feels out of place in the underworld, probably because of his father's constant criticism, and he is also literally stuck in the underworld. He has to fight his way to the surface in order to get the smallest breath of fresh air. Zagreus is kept in the dark about his birth mother. He seems close to his adoptive mother, but his father, Hades, is cold, harsh, and distant. The game hints that Zagreus has tried to play by his father's rules in the past, that he tried to make his father proud, but nothing he did was ever good enough. In the game, you can grow closer to characters through gifts, but Hades is locked at low hearts. Even late in the game, his amount of possible hearts is pretty low. After years of this dynamic, Zagreus has had enough and sets out to leave the underworld and find his mother. He gets some help along the way, but there are a lot of obstacles. Each attempt he gets further, but he finds himself dying and being sent right back to the beginning again. It's a seemingly endless cycle, but Zagreus nevertheless persists, which can be a powerful metaphor, I find at least. Mental health is never linear, as much as I would love it to be. That would make so many things so much easier. But falling back is normal. For example, during treatment for addiction, the goal is sobriety, but it is common for the person to use again before achieving that goal long term. If too much pressure is put on perfectionism, the person may think they can never get better after a slip, and they're more likely to drop out of treatment and just continue to use. It's an all or nothing kind of mentality. Either you're completely good or you're completely bad. There's no shades of gray, which is more of what treatment tends to look like. With depression or anxiety, there are bound to be some good days that are easier and some days that are harder. Much like how in Hades, sometimes you get boons that help you progress further, and sometimes you have a harder time. The goal is to keep getting better and better to the point where you are able to get further and further, no matter what kind of boons you get. It is also not lost on me that the final boss is literally your parent. A parent that says during the entirety of the battle that your hopes, dreams, and goals are futile and naive. Our deepest insecurities often start at home with comments our caregivers make. Even when Zagreus reaches the surface, he learns he is not actually compatible with the living, and he is doomed to die no matter what. At the very least, he is able to accomplish part of his goal, reach his birth mother and talk to her. Talking to her seems healing. He's able to learn a little bit about himself and his family history. Finally, a parent interacts with him with kind, loving words. After a few conversations, his mother goes back with him to the underworld. Hades and Persephone have as much of an emotional meeting as Hades is able to have, after Hades is less negative towards Zagreus and sanctions his attempts to escape as a job testing the underworld security, which is about as supportive as I think Hades can muster. Through the course of the game, Zagreus makes a place for himself. He builds strong relationships with several around him and creates his own job. He builds friendships, relationships. You have the chance to woo certain characters. And then he creates meaning for himself through the creation of this job. No matter how stuck you feel, there's a way to carve out a place for yourself. What are your thoughts on Hades? Who do you put the nectar towards first? Are you looking forward to the sequel that was announced? Let me know in the comment section. Have a good day, guys. Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, please comment, like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. Remember to be kind to yourselves this week.